Welcome back to Voice of Africa. We are thrilled to bring you an exciting and deeply significant update today, one that resonates with the heart of Pan-African solidarity, the spirit of resistance, and the legacy of one of Africa's greatest sons. This moment isn't just a news update. It's a historical milestone, a symbolic gesture of unity, and a bold declaration of African nations walking hand in hand towards sovereignty, security, and shared development. In a recent visit to Burkina Faso, a high-level delegation from Senegal delivered a powerful message of fraternity and cooperation. At the center of this visit was a tribute to the legendary revolutionary leader Thomas Sankara, whose legacy continues to inspire generations across the continent. The Senegalese representative began by extending his warmest regards to His Excellency, President Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso. With gratitude, he acknowledged the gracious hospitality offered by the Burkina Faso government and its people since their arrival. This diplomatic mission wasn't just another routine visit. It was driven by two crucial objectives that carry weight and meaning far beyond borders. First, the delegation came to participate in the honoring of Thomas Sankara, a man whose name is synonymous with courage, integrity, and uncompromising patriotism. As Africa's Che Guevara, Sankara's vision for an independent and self-reliant continent still echoes loudly through time. The visit coincided with the inauguration of a mausoleum dedicated to Sankara, a sacred space that immortalizes his contributions and sacrifices. The homage paid was not only for Sankara the individual, but for what he represents, a defiant and visionary Africa determined to break free from neo-colonial shackles. The second objective of the visit was a focused working session between the Senegalese and Burkina Faso authorities to strengthen bilateral ties and cooperation. The meetings, described as long and meaningful, covered a wide array of strategic issues, foremost among them, security. In a continent battling the spread of extremist violence, Burkina Faso has been on the front lines, facing a complex insurgency that has displaced millions and threatened the stability of the entire West African sub-region. The representative of Senegal, on behalf of President Bassirou Diomaye Faye, expressed the unwavering solidarity of the Senegalese people with their Burkina Faso brothers and sisters. He recognized the immense burden of a war that Burkina Faso did not choose but was thrust into by external and destabilizing forces. The message was clear and resolute. Senegal stands with Burkina Faso. President Traoré, his government, and the entire nation have Senegal's full support in their fight against terrorism. Now is the perfect moment to pause and say thank you to you, our cherished viewers and subscribers. At Voice of Africa, your engagement, your shares, your comments, and your encouragement are what keep this channel thriving. We are passionate about telling stories that matter, stories of resistance, progress, and African pride. If you appreciate the depth and relevance of our content, please consider supporting the channel with a super thanks. Your contribution helps us keep doing the work of uplifting African voices, sharing powerful narratives, and reshaping global perspectives about our beloved continent. Returning to the visit, the Senegalese envoy emphasized a critical truth that resonates across the continent. No African country is immune to the threat of instability. When Burkina Faso, Mali, or Niger face the scourge of terrorism, it is not a localized problem. It is a continental crisis. Geography and history bind us together. Our struggles are shared, and so must be our responses. The representative spoke with urgency about the illusion that borders could somehow contain the spread of terror. He reminded us all that if these threats are allowed to fester, they will inevitably cross into neighboring lands, bringing suffering to millions more. In this context, Senegal is not only offering words of support, but is ready to explore every possible avenue of collaboration, from intelligence sharing and military coordination to humanitarian aid and development partnerships. The African proverb, "When the roots are deep, there is no reason to fear the wind," rings especially true here. The roots of African unity must grow deeper still, so that no storm, no matter how violent, can tear us apart. The relationship between Burkina Faso and Senegal is already rich with promise. Over 20 bilateral agreements form the bedrock of this partnership, spanning diverse sectors from trade to education, from infrastructure to agriculture. And now, around 20 additional agreements are in the pipeline, awaiting finalization. This is a promising sign that both nations are committed to moving beyond symbolic gestures and toward actionable, sustainable development. Even more compelling is the shared vision both nations hold for multilateral collaboration within the wider West African region. As regional blocs and alliances become increasingly important, the willingness of leaders like President Traoré to embrace unity, openness, and mutual respect is a guiding light. During the meeting, President Traoré offered an honest and sobering view of the challenges his country faces. Yet he also radiated resilience, determination, and optimism. He reiterated that Burkina Faso does not see itself as isolated, but as an integral player in the regional and continental struggle for peace and prosperity. He reaffirmed his government's openness, not just to bilateral cooperation, but to playing a key role in driving African unity. His words carried weight. Burkina Faso is ready to be a pillar of strength, a bridge of solidarity, and a beacon of resistance against neo-colonial interference. The conversation made it clear that economic cooperation and security collaboration are two sides of the same coin. A nation under siege cannot thrive economically, and a nation in poverty cannot sustain security. African leaders are beginning to understand this link more clearly, and that awareness is shaping new, smarter strategies. For Burkina Faso, the dual burden of economic hardship and a security crisis is especially heavy. But it is precisely in these circumstances that the strength of leadership and the resilience of the people are most visible. The visiting Senegalese representative noted with admiration the spirit of the Burkinabe people, undaunted, steadfast, and united. Despite relentless attacks, they have not given up. Despite enormous challenges, they continue to build, to hope, and to fight for their future. What stood out most from this visit was the tone of humility, respect, and genuine brotherhood. The leaders were not posturing for the cameras or indulging in diplomatic platitudes. They were speaking from a place of sincerity, knowing full well that the stakes are high. This wasn't politics as usual. This was Africa talking to Africa, with no intermediaries, no foreign scripts, and no colonial subtext. And that, dear viewers, is precisely why we bring you stories like these, because this is the real Africa. Proud, strategic, defiant, and deeply committed to its own path forward. The visit concluded on a high note, with both parties expressing satisfaction and optimism about the future. The message was simple but powerful. Together, Senegal and Burkina Faso are stronger. Their destinies are intertwined, and by working together, they can achieve far more than they ever could alone. This is not just about governments. This is about people, about youth who want jobs, about mothers who want safety, about farmers who want land, about soldiers who want peace. This is about reclaiming African futures, together. To our amazing Voice of Africa community, thank you once again for walking this journey with us. Every time you watch, share, comment, or contribute, you are part of a growing movement to center Africa in global conversations. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you feel inspired, hit the super thanks button. Your support keeps us going and allows us to continue delivering the stories that matter most. We leave you with this thought. Africa is not waiting for permission. Africa is not asking for sympathy. Africa is rising. From the streets of Ouagadougou to the shores of Dakar, a new dawn is breaking. Sankara's spirit lives on, not just in statues or mausoleums, but in the bold steps of African nations reclaiming their dignity, their security, and their future. Until next time, stay proud, stay informed, and stay united. This is Voice of Africa, where every story speaks truth to power.